Farmers Day 2012, we've been making the rounds literally here, talking to folks from all over South Michigan, and one of them, Rick Hollister with the Andersons out of Albion. You're covering a territory down here, about how many counties?
We actually, the Andersons is active in 10 or 12 counties in this area, sourcing grain for our ethanol plant there in Albion.
Yeah, it's one price we're glad to quote to our listeners. Now, taking a look into the rest, it's still early enough in the year we can still, looking ahead to 2012, and I don't know how much longer we can do that, but I guess until things start growing and the business really cranks up. What's the outlook for ethanol from your perspective, our local perspective?
Yeah, I think our ethanol margins here recently in 2011 really faded hard and put squeeze on our ethanol production in general in the U.S. And so everybody's trying to readjust. We've heard of a couple of plants out west that have actually stopped production because the margins are poor. So it depends on really, how well you can source corn, or how much corn you kind of have bought ahead or not, whether your ethanol plant is operable. But most everybody's been in the red margin-wise, so that eventually will chew into the demand for corn, in general and in this area. So far, we've been able to keep our ethanol plant running full bore, and it's done really well. And our plant, we've always been real fortunate to have a plant in Albion that operates extremely well. So it's very efficient, does a good job of converting bushels. So that's what we're still focused on, and still trying to run full bore.
In that industry, you really are kind of at the whim of nature and politics.
Yeah, we had not been for the last couple of years really in favor of the VTEC, the subsidy, and thinking that industry really is to a point now, ethanol-wise, where it should stand on its own and should be able to hold its own without that subsidy. And we think it'll sort out the people that really want to and need to be in this business. I think it'll be good for the industry long term to get away from the blender's premium.
Yeah, I remember not that many years ago, of course, we were making the rounds of the new plants, and some of them maintaining quite well. Some, like you mentioned, out in Nebraska, maybe not so well. Looking down the road another 10 years, I know it's hard enough to see the next couple of months, but this is an industry that's here to stay?
I think so, yeah. We've certainly built it into our demand base, all over the Midwest, east and west both, in the Midwest. So, and we really have built in the distiller's grain into that process. We keep bumping up against this blend wall where we're producing enough ethanol that production was really good at the end of 2011. We bumped up against the max amount about we could even blend. So until we go to an E15, I think we're kind of maxed the business out. But I think the business is here to stay. Nobody's guaranteed a profit, and we'll take good times with the bad and see who can manage risk the best. That's what we do.
Talking to farmers, face it, 2011 is kind of a hard act to follow on for a lot of times, but what's the overall feeling around here, those that you talk to here and other places as well?
Sure, agriculture has been very fortunate to come through the last couple of years with good margin, whether you're actually producing in production agriculture or in businesses that supply or service agriculture. The agriculture community has done real well here for the last couple of years, and I don't think we can expect that to maintain. I think business is business, and margins will get squeezed down to a more competitive basis. So we're trying to prepare for that and look forward and take margin when we can take margin, and continue to operate in that risk management mode. And we know people that don't operate that way, that it'll catch them, and they're gonna have to make enough money when they can to survive the bad times, because they don't do a lot of risk management, and there could be some ethanol plants in our backyard that will suffer from that if they if times stay tough for a while.
Well, keep us up to date there, Rick. Rick Hollister with the Andersons. I'm Rick Shields.